What is going on, you guys? Today I have another episode for you where I'm going to be reviewing a YouTube channel called Soft White Underbelly. And the title here is A Divorce Attorney and a Psychologist Talk About Marriage and Prenups. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so it's very interesting that it does really, I guess, go both ways. And insofar as, I've always felt that I've never quite understood why we as a society, maybe it's because I've been a divorce lawyer for 25 years, but we're so reluctant to say the quiet part out loud, to say, look, this is an exchange of value. This is a contract we're signing up for. It's a contract that is unlikely to succeed. So again, if anything has happened to my practice in the last year since my first conversation with Mark and my first appearance on the channel, is the number of people coming to me for prenups has gone through the roof.
Oh, good.
Because I think we are as a society, like the fire that you created in your, like the attention that's turned to you, the number of people your message has resonated with, and the same for me, I think says something about people saying, yeah, this, like we have to talk about this. We have to get it out there.
I say to guys that I consult with is that you already have a prenup on some level. You have an agreement that was crafted by the state that predates your nuptials. That's your prenup. It's a default standard contract that you get unless you craft one that's custom tailored to your
100%.
circumstances.
I tell every person who comes into my office for a prenup, you're going to have a prenup. It's either written by the legislature of your state, and by the way, can be changed anytime unilaterally by them, okay, depending on the administration, sort of how the winds blow, or it's one that the two of you create. You create your own rule set. And you can make it as simple of a rule set as you want, or you can make it as complex of a rule set as you want. You can make it just yours, mine, ours. If it's in your name, it's yours, my name, it's mine, joint names, we split it 50-50, and that's it. Or you can say, just my business stays mine. Everything else will divide 50-50, whatever, but my business stays mine. That's gonna save you $100,000 worth of forensic accounting in the event that you divorce, just that one clause alone. But what is it about, because I gotta tell you, I have men who come into my office, and this is the part I don't understand, who are power brokers at the highest level, like world-class surgeons people fly from the UAE to New York to be treated by. People in finance who are in the billions in terms of their worth, and they can move markets by their investment decisions. And they are terrified to say to a woman who they have been dating and who they support financially completely, she's totally dependent on them, and they're afraid to say, maybe we should have a prenup.
Okay, yeah, that's really fascinating. And I think...
Yeah, that's really good because obviously, like, this guy, he's very charismatic, very confident, he's really successful. And the key takeaway from that is he's afraid to say that to a woman, first off. Second off, to a woman that he likes and has been dating in a relationship with for a long time. So they should be comfortable to have this conversation without somebody getting offended. Oh, and by the way, if they get offended and they get all weird about it, well, they're showing you that they're the wrong fit for you long term. You have to catch on to red flags. And this is why guys are afraid to have the conversation, is a lot of people fall into a trap called the sunk cost fallacy. And basically the translation for that is I've put this amount of time, let's say several years into this relationship, and it scares me to have this conversation with her because what if I lose her? And that's the wrong mindset. And I'll tell you why, because that's scarcity mindset. It's fear. Oh, what if I lose her? Oh. Listen, man, like there's literally so many women in the world that I know you have an emotional attachment with this one, but you're bound to find a girl who's a much better fit for you. Simply put, right? It would actually be easy. You just have to get out of your mind, out of this fear, scarcity mindset, because that's what's holding you back. Even in other areas of your life too. It's not just, women, but that's absolutely nuts that he just shared that. And I've seen another clip with this divorce attorney guy where he said something like, if someone told you that you walked outside this morning and you had a 75% chance that a bowling ball or a piano would be dropped on your head, would you go outside? Most people would be like, well, no. I don't know the percentage exactly, but divorce statistics are very high. Right, so basically he was translating that like an analogy for you better have a prenup, right? You can still have the relationship, and again, if the woman takes it well that you bring up the prenuptial agreement, that's an amazing sign. She should be like all about it, green flag. Yeah, absolutely, babe. Like, let's do it. Because if she's not, then that shows you that you should walk away. And hopefully you're strong enough as a man to do that. Because that is your superpower, is being able to walk away from a deal, from a woman, etc. You get the point.
One, that has to do with the fact that confidence isn't always generalizable to different domains. Somebody could be a successful surgeon, even an athlete, someone with a lot of professional and public expertise, but that doesn't naturally and inevitably generalize to other domains like women.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
I totally get that.
Actually, I don't mean to pause the video again so quickly, but I've seen that a lot. I've talked to a lot of guys about that too, where they'll tell me they're great at doing sales and deals and speaking in front of thousands of people, public speaking. So they're very confident in every other area but with women. This is key. So they have fear around that. Again, burn this into your brain. You're afraid of a woman, right? That's number one. And again, if you're dating her, you should be comfortable together. So that should not be a scary conversation.
God, you can make business deals. Like, these are guys who can, like, C-suite executives who go, we're just going to lay off those 20,000 people like it's nothing. And they're not, oh my God, what are they going to do? They have families, or I'm so worried about those people. I don't want to disappoint them. It's near Christmas time. And they are afraid that this woman who they're dating is going to be slightly disappointed or uncomfortable for like a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where that disconnect is. How can someone be so good at being ruthless, tactical, strategic, domineering, hard-charging, all those things in one sphere, and so bad at it in the...
And by the way, that is a much better result, her being slightly disappointed, than you getting into a divorce mess with child support, alimony, blah, 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 right? All the fees associated with that, maybe even the lawyer fees. Her being slightly disappointed is a much better result than that. That it is what it is, right? You can't be a people pleaser your entire life. That's the best way I can put that. So I totally agree with what they're saying.
Interpersonal, interrelationship.
Got to be a lot of different reasons. Maybe that's part of it. They have this arena that they compete in all the time, and they don't want to bring those tools into their private relationships. Yeah. Maybe they're romantic. I've made some episodes about how men, I think, are actually more romantic than women. Yeah. What's interesting, you talk about all these divorce statistics, and what's more romantic than fighting for the losing cause on some level? It's like...
Yeah, we're cheering for the Karate Kid. Yeah, we're cheering for the underdog.
The fact that the odds are against it and it probably won't work out, but fuck it, let's do it anyway. Yeah. That is like the spirit of romanticism.
Listen, my 27-year-old son just got engaged. I said it's so bad for my brand. Like, why would you do this? But he did. And you know what? I have to tell you, like, I immediately, all reason went out of my head, and I went, oh, that's great. Like, because she's lovely.
That's what you're supposed to say. Somebody's engaged. Oh, congratulations.
Right. And my default is, I've always said to people, like when someone says like, oh, we're gonna get married, why? Why would you do that? Like, I don't understand why it is unacceptable to go, what in God's name are you thinking? Why would you do that? It's like, it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, just, but I felt it firsthand because his girlfriend is lovely. They went to law school together. She's a sweet girl. They're both lawyers. And I was like, you know what, why not? Maybe these two crazy kids, it'll work out. What, are you kidding me? Like, that is just, I know statistically, it is so unlikely that this is a decision he's not gonna someday turn around and go, yeah, what was I thinking? But there's still, we're cheering for that underdog.
And I think it has a lot to do with attraction. Like I was saying, if it was totally rational and you were just doing a cost-benefit analysis of the contract and the arrangement, I don't think many people would do it.
How is that drive so powerful? How is that? I mean, look, we have all these drives, right? Like thirst, hunger. And if you've ever been hungry or you've ever been thirsty, like thirsty is way more powerful, Like there's a part of you that goes, oh my God, I'm gonna die if I don't get liquids. But this drive feels like it's against all rational thought.
It is against rational thought. This is my little pet theory, because I've been to a lot of weddings in my time. In the vast majority of cases, if one of the couple is crying at the altar, it's the man.
Yeah.
And I think those vows that are traditionally said at the altar, they had to have been written by a man, because they have to do with, I think, men's deepest, most sincere longing, which is, wow, for better or for worse, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Like in sickness and health, you're going to be there
you'll
for
really
me.
be there.
And it's like, wow, I don't have to carry it all myself. I found somebody who will look after me if I need to. If I stumble, they're going to help me pick up. Like, what man has that in his?
Yeah, and any man who's been through a divorce hears that and goes, well, of course that guy's crying. Like, he's going, oh shit, it's over. Like, this is all over. The whole thing's downhill.
I don't think that's why he's crying.
It's not.
Like,
no, I agree. I think there's something that goes, oh my God, so I found this person. And I get that. I get the idea that, it's just life is terrifying in some ways and it's very hard sometimes, and to have a person, your person, who just gets you and loves you and sees your blind spots but sees them with.
Yeah, I mean, and one good thing to add on to this, obviously, given the title of the episode, is a woman can make or break you, or maybe better said, is she can boost you or skyrocket you or break you. And what I mean by that, obviously, is she can wreck your life. You do the whole marriage, kids, and then get divorced thing, right? Or she could be a recipe for success. Like you found the right one. You figured out how to find the right one, right? You know how to vet and interview properly. And now you can attribute, you were going to be a successful guy. And now you're this much more successful because you had an amazing woman by your side. I think people tend to forget that part, that there's also a large upside to you finding the right woman. And I get it. I get it. I know it's like you're, sifting through a bunch of hay, trying to find the right one. And there's something worth saying here. I would recommend to you watching this to focus on not seeking and focus on self-love. And the reason for that is because once you finally hit that point and you love yourself, you don't feel lonely. And because of that, you're going to attract the right women and you're going to repel, or the wrong women aren't going to like you. Like, they're going to avoid you. And they might not know why. It's an energy that you're putting out. So you're actually going to attract the right woman at that point, once you finally have that true self-love. So this is super important.
Love and is cheering for you. Like, there's something so intoxicating even about the thought of that.
And the most romantic idea of all, I think, is that I can be loved for who I am, especially as a man. It's not about what I can provide. It's not about my status and my occupation. It's not about what I can give to you as a life. It's that you love me and you're going to be with me irrespective of the conditions of our life.
Yeah.
And that is such a relief, because most men can never put that burden down.
But
it doesn't work that way. If you surrender those things that make the relationship work, you endanger the relationship.
Yeah, and see, as you're saying that, because of what I do for a living, it's that, I wish I knew no astronomy when stars appear. Like, all I can think is, oh, and that's why when that rug pull happens, Jesus, does it go the other way? Like because for a man to say, it's kind of like okay, are we going to fight? Are we going to fight? Oh, no, we're not? Okay, we're going to be friends. And then you punch me. It's like, that is so much worse. Sure. Like, that is so much worse than if you'd just been like, oh, Sexton, I got a problem with you. And we're like, all right, I got a problem with you. Let's figure this out. Like, that's so much more honest. Sure. Whereas if you were like, oh, you're so great, and then you choke me, it's like, wow, really? Like, I've had, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you have rolls with people, and the guy goes, oh, I've got a shoulder thing. If we could just go a little light. And you're like, yeah, of course. And then they just take your head off. And you're like, oh, I thought we were going light.
Well, I think
and
that's
it's the same vibe.
Well, there's different forms of aggression with men and women. With men, it generally is more direct. But most women couldn't really hold their own in the direct, certainly physical altercation with a man.
They win in marriage all the time.
Well,
they have the high ground in that one. Like,
they've learned indirect forms of aggression, and their aggression is more verbal and more emotional. And most guys are completely outclassed when it comes to that. They're dealing with a 10th degree black belt in emotional warfare sometimes, and they can barely put their feelings into words.
Yeah, and I think they learn that kind of fighting, if we want to call it fighting, that kind of tactical thinking in the context of the relationship. I think most men try to learn how to fight while they're in the fight. Which is the worst time to learn how to fight. Yep. Like, they really, a lot of guys come to me, and you know what, I guess that is an answer in some ways to the question I asked earlier, where there are men who are so good at these negotiations, high stakes things, and then they just are so bad at this kind of conflict, the conflict that they have to disappoint their romantic partner.
Well, they also know when they're negotiating in the boardroom that they're negotiating.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's an honest transaction.
You don't know that you're in a point of negotiation. You don't know that this might be an antagonistic interaction.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, you're stepping into the ring and the announcer is...
Yeah. So obviously then, because this is the question.
I want to point something out here. So I totally know what they're saying. And I agree, because a woman has to basically learn how to maneuver psychologically through her conversations with people, especially men. And so again, yeah, they're right. Like, she's kind of like a black belt in, speaking and communicating in a certain way that is beneficial to her survival, right? And for guys, not so much, not in like the emotional way. They're more logical. So when they hit these situations, like when they run into these situations, they're not fully sure how to navigate these conversations with the woman. And one thing I think a lot of men forget is you are the man, which means you are the leader. Assuming that you're a masculine man, right? Because she might have lost respect for you if you started leading less, started letting her lead more, and she became the masculine one. That's a big one that guys slip up on. Their masculine frame, it breaks. So don't forget that. Even if she might, be better at emotional and psychological angles during the conversation, you're still the man and you're still the leader. And you can show her that, and she's going to respect the hell out of that if you do it. You just have to remember that. Most guys, I think that's the biggest issue, is like they forget that. Or even like guys do crazy stuff, like they go on first dates and they're like, I wonder if she likes me. It's like, you forget that she's out on a date with you. It's, you want to be more of an energy of like, I'm leading. Of course she likes me. We're out. We're having fun. Boom, boom, boom. Carry that into your relationship. Be the leader. Continue to do that.
And I wanted to ask you. So obviously then, the best thing a person could do, like you talk to any nutritionist, they're going to say, well, the best thing you can do is not get fat. So just don't get fat. It's easy to not get fat. It's easier to not get fat than to get fat and try to lose the weight, right? Mm-hmm. So it's easier to maintain your weight. Okay. Sure. So if at the start of a relationship, you've seen the truth, you've read your book, you've watched our interview, you've got the prenup, like you're going into this thing with your eyes open, okay? So of course, that's the ideal, right? That's the ideal, is for a young person to go, okay, a young man to see this and go, all right, I see these things, I've seen the Matrix, whatever, I've taken the red pill, I get it. What do you do if you're already in it? Like that's, because those are the people coming into my office. The people coming into my office are guys who go, okay, now I see it, but I'm in it. I'm in it already. Like I don't have a prenup. And I didn't realize this was going to be like a tactical thing going on between us. I thought it was like, oh yeah, I found my person. She loves me more than anything in the whole wide world. I'm going to take care of her material needs, and she's going to be kind to me and have sex with me forever. And isn't it great? It's going to be great. Oh, she wants kids.
And it should be, by the way. It should be that way. And you might have disagreements. I think this is very, very Western-centered, this conversation here, right? I mean, obviously, like, marriage doesn't really benefit guys in the West, and women have the high ground on that one. And it shouldn't be about this, like, who's got the high ground, this or that. I think this is a good place to end the video. Here, you guys can watch the full video if you want on the Soft White Underbelly channel. And Dr. Orion Taraban is the guy in the blue suit that he's interviewing. But I want to say this, right? Because marriage can be good. I would say you might want to consider it outside of Western societies, especially like I'm from the US. Just the divorce court, like the laws are not in favor of men there. So getting back to this point, it shouldn't have to be about them having leverage or any of this stuff. The reason that you're getting headaches over this is because you picked the wrong one. Flat out. Because if you picked the right one, she would want to be supportive and bring you peace and work together with you to collaborate to build an amazing life together. And if that's not what's happening, if you're getting a headache, you're getting struggle, you're getting fights, yelling, blah, 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 she's not the one. She's not the one, man. And hopefully you can get out sooner. Just disappoint her earlier rather than getting down the whole rabbit hole. So guys, I hope you found this helpful. Go check out that channel. Subscribe to both of them. They have great content. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. You got this, bro.